I'm Dana Dodd, and some things that I was struggling with before I came to Pure Vitality was just being tired, exhaustion, lack of energy, also struggling with a lot of joint pain, and just began to, my first thought was, is this arthritis? What is this? I kind of feel like I'm a little young for that, for it to be hurting this bad, to be having this much pain in my joints. And it was something that had been coming on for probably about 10 years, 10 or 11 years, had been increasingly getting worse. I am an avid runner and exercise, and that just turned into not being enjoyable anymore because I hurt so bad. And once I'd get out there and get going, I was fine, but then there was the lack of energy and just being tired. The time needed to recover from that was just not what it used to be. After sitting for a while when you would go to get up, the pain and the stiffness in my joints and moving, I just kind of felt like that was not normal. I did not want to pursue going to just a regular medical doctor because I didn't want to be put on a prescription. I didn't want a lot of medicines. I don't take a lot of medicine, not really anything really, and I didn't want to start that. I wanted to look out at other alternatives. I knew that I had just gone through menopause, and so part of the thing that my thinking was, is this just what it's going to be? Is this what I'm going to have to deal with? Is this just because I'm getting older, and I'm just going to have to live with this? I didn't like that idea. I didn't like that solution. I thought there has to be something else that can help out with this. I also have a son that at the time had just turned 10, and very active little boy. I wanted to be able to keep up with him, and then with the lack of energy and the pain and stiffness in my joints and all, he's saying, "Mommy, let's go jump on the trampoline," and I'm thinking, "Oh, let's not," and say we did, And I did not want to be like that. I didn't want life to be like that. I had always been very active and ready to jump up and say, "Yes, let's go do this." So I just felt like there had to be something else. I wanted to exhaust other options and solutions first before I felt like I had to just give in to my only option being, let's go take a pill. So those were the two main things that I wanted to address. And, one third thing was, having gone through menopause, there was a little bit of weight gain, and I had never had to struggle with my weight before ever. I didn't like that. And I felt like that was another part of the problem that was making some of the other issues worse. Clothes getting tighter and all of that. And I thought, I want something different. I want something better than this. Again, like I said, there has to be another viable solution out there. I shouldn't be feeling the way that I feel at the age that I am. And so just wanted to pursue those other options and began to pray and seek the Lord about what to do. And when this opportunity crossed my path, I felt like it was something worth pursuing. And as my husband and I talked about it, he looked at me and said, "Try it, do it. I think you need to make the phone call and at least check it out before you rule anything out." So I did. And I knew the more that I had looked at Pure Vitality, your website, the things that you teach, I sensed that there was an alignment spiritually speaking, as well as some of the things that I was looking for with help physically. And there was a great deal of anxiety wrapped up in a lot of what I was experiencing as well, and understanding that I knew some of the biblical answers for that. I just needed help appropriating those answers. And that's why I also liked the other part of this, not just the physical benefits that I could get from talking with a naturopathic doctor, holistic doctor, or whatever, and I wanted help with foods and supplements and vitamins, those kinds of things, but I knew that there was a spiritual component to this that affected the emotional part of some of what I was struggling with. I have a tendency to be probably a very type A personality kind of a person, a go-getter. I want to fix it or control it, and I'm not in control of most things that are going on in our, I mean, none of us are really, but that lack of control over some of the other issues that I was dealing with in life, as well as my own physical issues that I was starting to notice. I was trying to clamp down on more control, and I was trying to fix it myself. And that led to a lot of the anxiety that I was experiencing, which led to so much more frustration that I was experiencing, that I noticed in my own life, my level of anger was climbing, and it reached to a place where just the least little thing just would send me over the edge. And so that was another component of where I realized, while I read the Bible, I study the Bible, I help coach others in discipleship counseling and all, sometimes we need some help too. We need another person on the outside to help us. The old saying, you can't see the forest for the trees. And I was drowning in trying to figure all of that out myself, and needed some help with that. So that was another reason why I placed the phone call and was interested in the whole total package of not just how can I get help for my physical body, but what is it spiritually that I need that will help me piece together what will help me emotionally too. And that was amazing to get all of that in one place. So since going through the program here at Pure Vitality, a lot has changed. And let me just start with, well, honestly, I need to start with the spiritual part first. I know that a lot of times the way the Lord works in our lives is we have to come to the end of ourselves. We have to come to a place where we are desperate, where we are ready to rely completely on Christ and to say, okay, I am open to what your solution is. Not mine, not me trying to fix it, but I am open to your solution. And so I felt like when the opportunity presented itself for me to participate in the program here at Pure Vitality, I was ready to say, okay, I'm all in. It doesn't matter what this is going to cost me. I am all in. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. And not just on a financial basis. I mean, the Lord supplies. He meets our needs. But also when it comes down to making lifestyle choices and changes, we have to be ready to do whatever it takes to make those choices and decisions. And I felt like I was at a place where I was desperate enough to say, yes, I'll do this. And that gave me an open mind and an open heart about what was being presented to me and what I was looking at. So as I embraced all three facets of the program, not just the physical stuff about food, nutrition, supplements, vitamins. I was open to embracing spiritually what the Lord had for me, as well as the healing and the transformation, or mind renewal as I would call it, with the emotional aspect of it. So physically, in changing my lifestyle, making some serious lifestyle choices about foods that I was eating, I was trying to do a lot of that beforehand, but I think it was me and my own strength and resources trying to do that. I felt like God provided that peace and pure vitality to add that accountability piece to it. And by seeing what was working well for me, what was not working well for me, gave me a little bit of, I guess, direction, I would say, as to know how to eat, how to plan accordingly, thinking about meals and those types of things. And I needed a little bit of wisdom and insight and understanding about my body and what was working for me and what wouldn't work well for me. And having that accountability gave me that extra push to be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to choose that, but I'm going to choose this. Also, the understanding of vitamins and supplements. I was taking a lot of vitamins and supplements, but needed some things tweaked about all of that. And adding a couple of those elements in was just transformative. I feel better now. I have more energy. I could say, while at the time of this recording I'm at 52 years old, maybe I shouldn't say that or not. I don't know. You might want to cut that or not. I don't know. But 52 years old, I could say physically I feel like I'm 37 again. And did not think that that would ever be a possibility. As far as my exercise routine, when running and working out, it's a joy again. The pain, the stiffness in my joints, I would say is like 85 to 90% better than what it ever was. And I don't have a lot of that pain that I had beforehand. Having the restored energy back gives me that opportunity to keep up with my son and all of the things that he's doing, and being engaged with him with those things, really being present for him, versus feeling like I'm having to drag myself up to go because I want to be with him. But when you feel bad physically, it affects how you feel emotionally as well. So I love being able to have that energy and stamina to engage with him, whether we're inside or outside, whether we're jumping on the trampoline, those types of things. And I look forward to, in the spring, being back swimming with him, doing things with him, active with him again. He just learned to ride his bike. And we are excited about some of the trails we can go on and be a part of doing some of that with him. So physically, it's been absolutely amazing, and everything that I needed to get back on track with where I wanted to be. Those extra pounds that I picked up are gone. That's fantastic. And yes, obviously encouraging for us as ladies. So that's been great. And then spiritually and emotionally, some of the things that I felt like the Lord used in that process, He really spoke to me about rest. And that is my word for 2022, is that I find that rest that I need emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And instead of having all that angst, that anxiety that was churning within me, that felt like such a heavy weight and a burden that I carried that led to all of that frustration and that anger. When I find that rest in Christ and in Him alone, there is a peace that comes. There's a calmness now that comes. I feel it the most in the mornings with getting my son ready for school and us getting out the door. He goes to a private school, which is in Roswell, and so we have about an hour's drive one way to school. So it's very important that we leave at a certain time in the mornings, or it's, we're toast. So we have to get out the door, and beforehand, because of all the anxiety that was going on, I was in turmoil in the mornings and trying to make sure I got us out the door at the right time. I was stressed out. My son could feel that, and it brought more anxiety into his life, more stress into his life. And there is a peace and a calmness now, and through the coaching, it helped me completely shift the way that we do our mornings, the way I interact with him, and getting him out the door in the mornings. And so it's much more of a calmer morning, a more peaceful morning, to where we can then enjoy the drive that we have versus being stressed out about the traffic every morning. So him seeing that change in me, I think, is huge. That I think will have, an impact on him as well. So being able to be much more peaceful and calm, finding that rest in Christ that I needed is absolutely priceless. And God has continued to teach me more just over these last several weeks. After technically I finished up that part of the program, the Lord has continued to teach me some of those things about rest. And one of the verses that He took me back to just one morning this past week, that He gave me the night before I went into the hospital to have our son Nathaniel, and He spoke to me out of Exodus 33:15, where He promised Moses, "For my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." And that same sense of peace and calm that He gave me at the very beginning of this parenting journey, it's like He circled back and reminded me, I gave you that promise. And that promise still stands true today for you, that I am going with you every single day. My presence is with you, and I will give you rest. But knowing I've got to turn to Him, it's got to be a complete dependency on Him every single day, that He is my supply. He is my provision for that day. And I can have peace on the inside as I look to Him, and then to see His provision all throughout the day, every day, of just one thing after another that the Lord is doing to make that provision for us. Answering every prayer, opening doors that need to be opened at the right time, shutting the doors that need to be shut, and knowing that I trust Him in that because He's sovereign. And while I don't have control over the things that come into my life, I think I told Jason in one of the sessions that the picture the Lord gave me was a plate, and I don't always have control over the things that come into my life, and I view it as holding a plate. And I may not like some of the things that are sitting on my plate, but the Lord has allowed it due to His sovereignty in order to bring me to a place of trusting Him in reliance and dependency on Him. So while I may not be in control over some of the things on my plate, what I do have control over is deciding how am I going to spend the time that I've been given to carry that plate. And I can spend it trusting Christ and allowing Him to work in and through me for His glory, for His name, and for His kingdom. Or I can fight Him and fight against it and trying to fix these things and deal with these things myself out of my own strength and resources. And then that just sends me back to that place of frustration and anxiety. But as I trust the Lord with what I have to carry, He provides the strength and the resources. And the things then that He does through these things that I'm carrying on my plate, how He glorifies Himself and how He works in and through me and my family, that is amazing.